In this lesson, we will explore advanced prompting techniques for generative AI models. Building upon the foundational concepts of prompt engineering covered previously, we will explore sophisticated methods to enhance the model's understanding and steer its behavior. In this lesson, we first revisit the basics of prompt engineering covered previously. We then explore advanced prompting techniques like chain-of-thought prompting, which involves providing step-by-step reasoning to guide the model through complex tasks. Additionally, we discuss self-consistency to ensure coherent and reliable outputs from the model. Finally, we examine the tree-of-thought approach, where prompts are structured as decision trees to explore multiple lines of reasoning. Let's start with a review of basic prompting techniques. We'll cover the fundamentals of crafting effective prompts for language models, ensuring clear communication and optimal performance. This will lay the groundwork for exploring more advanced prompting strategies in subsequent sections. Let's quickly revisit the prompting practices to adopt. Good prompting practices involve providing clear, unambiguous instructions to language models. Highlight the key aspects the model should focus on and include relevant details or restrictions. Separate different components like instructions, content, questions, and expected output format. Use positive phrasing and provide examples to facilitate in-context learning. Refining prompts is an iterative process that may require multiple attempts. In this section, we will discuss chain-of-thought prompting. This technique involves guiding language models to break down complex problems into a series of smaller, more manageable steps. Chain-of-thought prompting is a technique that breaks down complex tasks through intermediate reasoning steps. It encourages the language model to explain its reasoning process by decomposing the solution into a series of steps. This behavior can be facilitated through various strategies like few-shot chain of thought or zero-shot chain of thought. Chain of thought serves as the basis for other prompting techniques which separate the task's decomposition and its solving. Chain of thought prompting has been shown to significantly improve language model performance on reasoning and arithmetic tasks. By guiding the model to break down problems into intermediate steps and explicitly walk through its thought process, chain of thought helps the model arrive at more accurate solutions. It also provides insights into the model's reasoning process. This technique enhances the model's capabilities in areas like logical reasoning, multi-step arithmetic problems, and other complex cognitive tasks requiring structured reasoning. Zero-shot chain of thought is a technique that prompts the language model to generate a sequential reasoning chain by appending instructions like, "Let's think step by step," to the prompt. This elicits the generation of intermediate reasoning steps, leading to more precise answers. The language model understands and follows the instructions, enabling it to break down the problem and arrive at the correct solution through a step-by-step thought process. This approach leverages the model's ability to reason and can potentially enhance the interpretability and accuracy of its outputs, especially for complex tasks, without the need for explicit examples or demonstrations. By prompting the model to reason through the problem in a structured manner, zero-shot chain of thought can improve the model's performance on tasks requiring logical reasoning and multi-step problem solving. Few-shot chain of thought is a technique that involves providing the language model with examples that include step-by-step reasoning or explanations, rather than just the final answer. By showing the model these reasoned examples, it learns to generate its own reasoning chain when solving new problems. This approach often leads to more accurate results as the model breaks down the problem into intermediate steps, enabling it to arrive at the solution through a structured thought process. Few-shot chain of thought leverages the model's ability to learn from examples that demonstrate the reasoning process, allowing it to apply similar step-by-step reasoning to new tasks, particularly those requiring multi-step logical reasoning or problem solving. By prompting the model to generate its own chain of thought, this technique can enhance the interpretability and accuracy of the model's outputs for complex tasks. Let's discuss some benefits of chain of thought prompting. By breaking down complex problems into smaller logical steps and providing demonstrations with step-by-step reasoning, Chain of thought enables the models to learn and generate their own reasoning chains when solving new tasks. This approach enhances the model's performance on tasks that require arithmetic, common sense, and symbolic reasoning by guiding them through a structured thought process. Prompt augmentations like, "Let's think step by step," can facilitate the generation of these thought chains, encouraging the model to break down the problem into intermediate steps and arrive at the solution through a reasoned process. Models with around 100 billion parameters have shown significant performance gains when using chain of thought prompting, as reported in a study. By learning from examples that demonstrate the reasoning process, these large language models can apply similar step-by-step reasoning to new tasks, leading to more accurate and interpretable outputs, particularly for complex problems that require multi-step logical reasoning or problem solving. Chain of thought prompting, while effective, has certain limitations. One limitation is that chain of thought prompts are tailored to specific problem types and may not generalize well across different tasks or domains. Additionally, smaller language models might generate fluent but illogical chain of thought responses, resulting in lower performance compared to larger models with more capacity. Furthermore, generating chain of thought responses can be computationally more expensive due to the increased number of steps involved in the reasoning process. These limitations underscore the importance of careful prompt engineering and ensuring sufficient model capacity when employing chain of thought prompting techniques to achieve optimal results. Let's compare the different prompting techniques for large language models. Zero-shot prompting allows the model to leverage its pre-trained knowledge to perform tasks without additional examples. One-shot prompting provides a single example to demonstrate the desired output structure, while few-shot prompting extends this by showing multiple examples for better understanding of the expected format. Chain of thought prompting is useful for complex reasoning tasks, where the model breaks down its thought process into intermediate steps before generating the final response. The choice of technique depends on factors like task complexity, available examples, and the model's capabilities to achieve optimal performance. Let's discuss some standard prompting strategies that can help improve the performance of large language models across different tasks. Writing clear, concise, positive, and precise instructions is crucial. Additionally, supplementing prompts with examples, either through one-shot prompting, providing a single example, or few-shot prompting, multiple examples, can effectively demonstrate the desired output format. Another useful technique is chain of thought prompting, where the model decomposes a complex task into intermediate reasoning steps, breaking down its thought process before generating the final response. The choice of prompting strategy depends on factors like task complexity, availability of examples, and the model's capabilities. Complex tasks may involve intricate logical reasoning, combining multiple concepts, or following intricate step-by-step procedures. Standard prompts, which typically provide a single instruction or a few examples, may not sufficiently guide the model through such intricate processes. Few-shot learning, while useful for demonstrating the desired output format, can limit the available context for the actual input, especially for large language models with a fixed context window size. The chain of thought prompting technique aims to make the model's reasoning process more transparent by breaking down the task into intermediate steps. However, this approach does not inherently ensure that the model follows a correct reasoning path, as it can still make logical errors or rely on flawed assumptions, leading to incorrect outputs. Furthermore, language models can potentially generate harmful, biased, or inappropriate content if proper safeguards and filtering mechanisms are not in place. This could include hate speech, explicit or offensive material, or misinformation, among other concerns. Implementing robust content moderation and safety measures is crucial to mitigate these risks. Let's discuss self-consistency, an interesting technique for large language models to generate coherent and reliable outputs. First, let's learn about LLM's decoding process. Decoder-only models are a type of language model architecture that generates text sequentially, one token at a time. They work by calculating logits, which represent the likelihood scores assigned to each possible token in the model's vocabulary. These logits are derived from the probability distributions learned by the model during training. The decoding process takes these logits and converts them into actual text output. At each step, the model selects the token with the highest logit score as the next word in the generated sequence. This process continues iteratively, with the model using the previously generated words as context to predict the next word, until a stopping criterion is met, such as reaching a maximum length or generating an end-of-sequence token. Let's contrast two decoding methods used in language models: greedy decoding and stochastic decoding. Greedy decoding is a deterministic approach where at each step, the token with the highest probability is selected. This method is fast and efficient since it doesn't keep track of multiple sequences, but it can get stuck in repetitive loops, and the generated output may lack creativity. On the other hand, stochastic decoding is a non-deterministic method where the next token is selected based on the probability distribution. The sampled token is not guaranteed to have the highest individual probability, but this approach allows for greater diversity in the generated output. Stochastic decoding is controlled by several parameters, unlike greedy decoding, which is equivalent to sampling with a temperature of 0. The key differences lie in the deterministic nature of greedy decoding, which prioritizes efficiency but may produce less diverse outputs, versus the stochastic approach, which introduces randomness and can generate more creative and varied text, albeit at the cost of increased computational complexity. The self-consistency technique is an approach that builds upon chain-of-thought prompting. Instead of relying on a single reasoning path, the idea is to generate multiple, diverse reasoning paths through few-shot chain-of-thought prompting. These diverse paths are then used to verify the consistency of the responses. By exploring multiple possibilities for the elicited reasoning chain, the model gains the ability to consider different perspectives and approaches to a problem. This can help boost performance on tasks that require arithmetic and common-sense reasoning. The key advantage of self-consistency is that it allows the model to cross-check its reasoning across multiple paths, mitigating potential biases or weaknesses that could arise from relying on a single line of reasoning. By verifying consistency across diverse paths, the model can arrive at more accurate and reliable predictions, especially for complex reasoning tasks. Self-consistency improves performance by generating multiple reasoning chains and taking a majority vote across their outputs. This approach enhances reliability and accuracy compared to relying on a single chain of thought. The idea is reminiscent of model ensembling techniques in machine learning, where multiple models contribute to the final prediction. Self-consistency has shown promising results on tasks with unique correct answers, such as arithmetic problems and quantitative business questions. It leverages the strengths of chain-of-thought prompting while mitigating potential biases from a single reasoning path. By exploring diverse possibilities and verifying consistency, the model can arrive at more robust solutions for complex reasoning challenges. This technique is particularly useful for common-sense reasoning benchmarks that require careful step-by-step reasoning. By generating multiple plausible reasoning paths and cross-checking their outputs, self-consistency can help uncover flaws or inconsistencies in individual chains, leading to more reliable and accurate final predictions. Self-consistency, while improving accuracy, incurs a higher computational cost compared to the standard chain-of-thought approach. To balance performance and cost, it is recommended to generate a small number of paths, typically 5 to 10, as the performance tends to saturate quickly beyond that. A potential solution is to use self-consistency during model fine-tuning to generate higher quality supervised data, and then use the fine-tuned model for single inference runs, providing improved accuracy without the need for multiple path generation at inference time. However, language models can often generate incorrect or nonsensical reasoning paths, posing a challenge for self-consistency marginalization. If most of the chain-of-thought paths are erroneous, the self-consistency approach may fail to yield reliable results. Further research is needed to understand what prompting techniques or model architectures can elicit proper reasoning and consistent outputs across multiple paths. Let's discuss the tree of thought approach, which aims to enhance the reasoning capabilities of language models by generating multiple reasoning paths or thoughts for a given input. The tree of thoughts prompting strategy is a powerful approach that enables large language models to engage in improved reasoning and problem solving. Instead of following a single linear thought process, this strategy encourages the model to explore multiple potential solutions or reasoning paths simultaneously. By constructing a tree-like structure, where each thought represents a coherent sequence of text serving as an intermediate step, the model can systematically generate, evaluate, and expand upon various ideas or hypotheses. This process mirrors how humans often consider multiple options, weigh their merits, and iteratively refine their thinking before arriving at a final solution. The tree of thoughts approach is versatile and can be applied to a wide range of tasks, mathematical reasoning, planning, and more. Furthermore, by aggregating and cross-checking the results from different reasoning paths, this strategy can help mitigate issues like hallucinations or inconsistencies that language models sometimes exhibit when relying on a single linear reasoning process. By considering multiple perspectives and cross-referencing their outputs, the model can identify and correct potential errors or inconsistencies, leading to more reliable and coherent solutions. The tree of thoughts prompting technique goes beyond the traditional chain of thought prompting by encouraging the model to explore multiple potential solutions or reasoning paths simultaneously. The key idea is to generate a tree-like structure where each thought represents a coherent sequence of text serving as an intermediate step towards the final solution. This allows the model to systematically generate, evaluate, and expand upon various ideas or hypotheses, mimicking how humans often consider multiple options and iteratively refine their thinking. To facilitate this process, the technique incorporates tree branching algorithms like breadth-first and depth-first search. These algorithms enable the model to explore different branches of the thought tree in a structured manner, allowing for look-ahead and backtracking capabilities. This systematic exploration ensures that the model can thoroughly analyze potential solutions, leading to more informed and well-reasoned decision-making. This technique is particularly valuable for complex problem-solving tasks that require careful consideration of various factors and trade-offs, such as decision-making, planning, or open-ended reasoning tasks. The tree of thoughts prompting technique is particularly useful for tasks that require careful deliberation, strategic planning, and exploration of multiple potential solutions. It excels in scenarios where important initial decisions need to be made, long-term strategies need to be formulated, and a comprehensive analysis of various options is necessary. However, tree of thought may not be the most efficient approach for tasks where powerful language models already demonstrate exceptional performance without the need for an extensive deliberative search process. In such cases, the computational resources required by tree of thought might outweigh the benefits it provides. One of the key advantages of tree of thought is the flexibility it offers in constructing the thought tree. Users can customize the tree structure, depth, and branching strategies to strike a balance between computational cost and performance, tailoring the approach to their specific requirements and resource constraints. While tree of thought demands more computational resources compared to simpler sampling methods, it offers a systematic and thorough exploration of the solution space, leading to more informed and well-reasoned decisions, particularly in complex problem-solving scenarios. The slide compares different prompting techniques for language models, ranging from simple input-output mapping to more advanced methods like chain of thought, self-consistency, and tree of thought prompting. The input-output approach is the most basic, where the model generates an output based solely on the input. Chain of thought involves having the model reason through the problem step by step before producing the final output. Self-consistency prompting aims to improve coherence by generating multiple outputs and selecting the majority vote. Finally, tree of thought prompting is a more sophisticated technique that constructs a tree-like structure of thoughts, allowing for a more deliberate and exploratory search process. This hierarchical approach enables the model to consider multiple solutions and strategies, making important initial decisions that can influence the subsequent thought process. While computationally more expensive, Tree of Thought prompting offers flexibility in customizing the cost-performance trade-off based on the task requirements. This lesson covered some advanced prompt engineering techniques. In the next lesson, you will explore multimodal solutions using foundation models. Thank you for your interest.